Welcome to Leadership in Tech, Thriving in the AI Era, brought to you by the IT Media Group. I'm Nasheen Liu, co-founder and partner with the IT Media Group, a tech leadership-centric media company. I am so thrilled to introduce our panel of experts, starting with our fabulous moderator, John Comacchio. And John is the Senior Vice President and CIO with Teknion Corporation. Joining John, Dominique Payette, who is an AI lawyer and Senior Privacy Counsel with RBC. Katrina Ingram, founder of Ethically Aligned AI, and Jesslyn Dymond, Director of Data Ethics with TELUS. I'm going to pass it on to you, John.
Thank you, Nasheen, and welcome Dominique, Jesslyn, and Katrina, and welcome to the audience as well. You saw the poll. Governance is a really important aspect of all this. AI capabilities continue to increase, and with advancements come risk and challenges. And we're here to talk about that. So Dominique, let me ask you this. What legal frameworks are important to understand to ensure responsible and ethical use while fostering innovation?
There are two main things that I would like participants to retain today. One is not only AI-specific legislation applies to AI, and two, the main influential jurisdictions such as UK, Canada, EU, and US are either adopting principle-based or rule-based legislation. So first off, of course, we're seeing all these AI-specific law reforms coming, but all the other sets of legislation and regulation that apply to your business still apply to the activities and operations you do using AI as a tool. So a great example would be privacy laws, as well as intellectual property laws, all the regulation around provision of service, such as financial service, still continue to apply. That's the first point. Second point is the AI-specific legislation are either principle-based, such as the one in Canada. There's a bill called ADA in the federal parliament that is very high level and allows for organizations to decide how they want to comply. Versus in the EU AI Act is very rule-based. So not only are there rules, there are ways to implement and respect the rules in the legislation. The US and the UK have rather adopted principle-based frameworks as well to leave a lot of space for innovation.
So given the legislation coming fast and furious, Jesslyn, why must businesses prioritize ethical considerations and societal impact when developing and deploying AI technologies?
I think this comes down to trust. And when we prioritize data ethics, we can be worthy of that trust. Keeping the human impact in mind is critical for us to sustainably pursue this innovation. We heard how human-centric thinking is so important for responsible innovation. And this is what we need to maintain and build on that trust relationship. And this is even more critical when it comes to deploying AI technology. In our 2024 TELUS AI report, we heard governance is essential from Canadians and disappointingly a roadblock today. But when we apply those ethical frameworks, we can innovate responsibly and ensure that the application being developed is what is intended and will be of value for all of humanity. There are big questions we need to find answers to, and inclusive dialogue, conversations like this, and with customers and communities is what's going to drive this forward. So having that human in the loop, but also humanity in the loop is critical for doing ethics with AI.
So Katrina, given the laws are coming, given that trust is very important and humans also want trust and also want laws, I guess what practical approaches and best practices can corporations adopt to integrate responsible AI into their processes, products, and services?
I'm launching a LinkedIn learning course in a few months. I'm going to show everyone how to do that step by step. So today I thought I'd rapid fire a couple of quick tips and practical things. So the first thing is what not to do, and that's not to assume that AI equals ROI. So there's a lot of vendor hype out there. They're pushing it like it's magic pixie dust. Do your homework instead. Don't fall for the FOMO. So that's a don't. In terms of things to do, I think you really need to think about what is actually going to count as AI. You need a working definition of this for your organization, and that should reflect your relevant legal framework. And then based on that definition, you need to really understand where is AI in your organization. Make sure you know where the sources of AI are. Think about shadow AI as well as kind of the other official channels, and then use that to really assess your AI ethical risks. And then in order to manage this well, you need to have the right organizational structures in place. And this means having executive level leadership of your responsible AI program, having a cross-functional team, and importantly, an AI ethics committee. So you need a working group who is going to help evaluate all of these ethical choices for your organization. What you want to do is you want to take your AI ethics principles and you want to make them actionable. And you have to be prepared to be accountable for those principles. We can look at recent cases like the Air Canada chatbot that went wrong. We can look at what's going on in the States with Rite Aid. Those are things that you should look up in Google. And then my last point is be prepared to make an ongoing commitment. This is not a one and done.
Shadow AI is a great call out. So let me go back to Dominique then. Given what businesses should be doing and have to do and would like to do, and you look at legislation, so who's leading in legislation and who should we follow? And how do you think Canada is going to follow up within all this?
For once, I think Canada is doing a great job at not being a follower. I think that the bill we have in Parliament right now is principle-based and strikes a great balance between innovation and innovating in a responsible way. So Canada is there at the forefront. Of course, the EU, as always, is a leader in protecting consumers generally, and they are appearing to be the first one that will actually pass the AI Act.
So Jesslyn, as a follow-up, so given what Dominique and Katrina were saying around process, around shadow AI, et cetera, how is TELUS embedding ethical considerations into their AI?
There's absolutely a huge opportunity for Canada to lead in responsible adoption of AI for our country and for our industries. So the rapid adoption of AI has never made cross-functional collaboration more relevant. You need to have these conversations with diverse perspectives and diverse areas of expertise across your organization. As we heard earlier, anyone can be using these tools now. It's not just the data scientists or the AI engineers. And for TELUS, this pace of innovation has highlighted the strengths of our investment in embedding a culture of data literacy and data stewardship. So having this accountability for the data that's being used in your organization is what will set up that courage to do innovation safely, creating places for teams to jump in and learn. It's only by using the AI that you can really understand its implications and the opportunities. And so doing that alongside each other in a way that's consistent with the values and our frameworks and what we are hearing from customers and communities more broadly is really important for our responsible AI program.
So Katrina, given the legislation, given ubiquitous access, given the fact that AI is improving every 2 months, what can companies expect?
I just want to echo Jesslyn's fantastic point about culture. I think we all know that culture eats strategy for breakfast, and then that's true also with your responsible AI program. I think there's a lot of different changes. I mean, I don't even begin to speculate on where things are going to go. But one point that I want to make is not to assume that things are going to be good with AI right away. So a lot of times we bring a technology into an organization and we expect immediate results. And I think we need to take a bit of a cautionary approach when it comes to AI. There's a lot of skill set development that needs to happen. There's reskilling, there's understanding how to prompt engineer effectively, and there's understanding where AI is going to make a difference in your business and where it's going to be helpful, or maybe where it's not going to be helpful. And that all of that needs to be really assessed in the context of your business.
When we look at some of the issues around legislation, how we can contribute as citizens, how companies have to contribute. We look at how we're going to implement our ethics. We look at what's going to happen. So how about some words of wisdom? I'll start with Katrina. I'll go backwards this time around stuff that people are hearing about, like like non-retention prompts and AI ethics and hallucinations, etc.
I think that my biggest piece of advice is don't assume everything is a technical problem or requires a technical fix. So these are socio-technical systems, and we really need to take a holistic approach as we implement AI in our organization.
And as you implement through your AI ethics, and as people challenge those ethics, any words of wisdom around how you would sort of approach that process?
Well, I think similar to voice of the customer kind of practices. We need to create that opportunity to hear from people and understand what they're looking for. And alongside that, I would say it takes courage to innovate, but I think, as Katrina kind of indicated, there's need for caution, and it takes courage also to pause and reflect and recognize that need to do better. And I hope we see lots of that as we go forward here.
Dominique, change. That's what we heard from Katrina and from Jesslyn, and to be patient. So how will legislation change, and how can we comment on that? And what are your thoughts about what might change?
I actually want to tell participants to not panic. Don't panic. Much of the AI-related risks are covered by more traditional and well-known areas. Like I mentioned, privacy, contractual clauses, intellectual property regulation. So don't panic. Do the delta on what's actually novel versus what you already cover as risks and governance processes. And there you can concentrate your efforts.
We need to be focusing on trust and really being proactive. This is happening very quickly, and it is happening right now. So recognizing that the conversations we should be having about AI need to happen right now.
Thank you very much. You've done a great job explaining this. My final words of wisdom is that, to me, after hearing you, ethical AI is the link between trust and value. So thank you very much.